Welcome back to the Expensive Coins History channel. Hidden in history, worth a fortune today. These are the rarest British coins ever minted. Today we're counting down the top 5, some so rare most collectors have never seen them. Ready to discover them? The 1990 Queen Elizabeth II 20-pence piece. A coin many people believe could be worth a fortune, yet few truly understand. At first glance, it looks ordinary. A 7-sided coin, cool to the touch, made of copper and nickel. On one side, the calm and dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, captured during the middle years of her reign. On the other, the familiar crowned rose, a symbol of England itself. This was not a commemorative issue. It was not struck to celebrate an event. It was made for everyday life, for bus fares, corner shops, and loose change in pockets across the United Kingdom. The year was 1990. Britain was changing, but the Royal Mint was producing coins in enormous numbers to keep the nation moving. That year, tens of millions of 20-pence coins entered circulation. They passed through countless hands, unnoticed, uncelebrated, taken for granted. And yet, decades later, this very coin would become the center of speculation, online claims, and whispered promises of hidden wealth. One phrase appears again and again: no mint mark. The idea that a 1990 20-pence coin without a mint mark could be rare, special, even extremely valuable.
Videos promise riches.
Listings show unbelievable prices. Hope takes hold. But here is where truth matters. British decimal coins, including the 20-pence, do not normally carry visible mint marks like some other countries' coins. The absence of a mint mark on a 1990 20p is not unusual. It is standard. It does not, by itself, make the coin rare. It does not transform it into a treasure. What it does reveal is how easily myth can grow when facts are ignored. Rarity in coin collecting is not created by rumor. It is created by numbers, mistakes, and condition. The 1990 20-pence coin was produced in very large quantities. Because of this, most examples found today are considered common. Coins that have circulated, showing wear, scratches, softened details, are generally worth close to their face value. Some may sell for a little more to collectors who want a complete date set, but they are not rare, and they are not worth large sums of money. Uncirculated examples tell a slightly different story. Coins that were never used, never spent, and carefully preserved can be worth more. Their value comes from condition, not age. A sharp strike, full detail, original luster, these qualities matter. Even then, the value usually rises modestly, not dramatically. Where real money enters the conversation is with genuine minting errors. Occasionally, a coin escapes the mint with something seriously wrong. Struck on the wrong metal, misshapen, incorrectly aligned. These are accidents, rare moments where the minting process fails. When authenticated, such coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands. But these are exceptions, not the rule. They are not defined by the date alone. They are defined by verifiable error. This is where many people are misled. A normal 1990 20-pence coin is not valuable simply because it is old, or because it lacks a mint mark, or because someone online says it is rare. Value comes from evidence, not excitement. As we move through 2026, interest in coins from Queen Elizabeth II's reign remains strong. Collectors appreciate the historical continuity her portrait represents. But the market is mature and informed. Prices are driven by knowledge, grading, and authenticity. Inflated claims do not survive professional scrutiny. If you believe you have something special, the path forward is clear. Do not rely on rumors. Do not rely on asking prices.
Sac proper evaluation.
Let experts examine weight, metal, strike, and detail. True rarity can be proven. False rarity fades quickly. And if what you hold is a standard 1990 20-pence coin, understand this: it is still a piece of history. Passed through a nation. It served a purpose. Carries the image of a queen whose reign shaped generations. Its value may not be measured in thousands, but its story still matters. Because in coin collecting, the greatest mistake is not owning an ordinary coin. It is believing every ordinary coin is extraordinary. Knowledge is the real treasure. And now you have it. A simple 1 penny dated 1992, bearing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. A coin many people have held in their hands without a second thought, yet one that continues to be surrounded by questions of rarity, value, and the possibility of hidden wealth. At first glance, the 1992 British 1 penny looks ordinary. It carries the familiar crowned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the front, dignified and timeless, representing continuity and tradition. On the reverse, the bold numeral 1 stands proudly, a symbol of Britain's decimal coinage system introduced in the early 1970s. This was not a commemorative issue, not a special release, and not intended to be a collector's item. It was designed for daily life, for shop counters, pockets, and purses across the United Kingdom. In 1992, the Royal Mint produced an enormous number of these coins. They were struck in copper-plated steel and released in vast quantities to meet everyday demand. Because of this high production, most 1992 pennies are considered common. Millions entered circulation, and many still exist today. From a purely historical standpoint, this coin represents stability rather than rarity, a snapshot of Britain's monetary system during the later years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. Yet despite this, the 1992 1 penny has become the subject of dramatic online claims. Stories circulate suggesting that this coin, especially one without a mint mark, could be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of pounds. These stories spread rapidly, fueled by viral videos and sensational listings. The idea that a humble penny could change someone's life is powerful, and it keeps people searching through their spare change with renewed hope. The reality, however, is far more grounded. In the United Kingdom, pennies do not carry mint marks in the way that some other countries' coins do. A 1992 penny without a mint mark is not unusual at all. It is exactly how the coin was intended to be made. For the majority of examples, value is determined by condition alone. A heavily circulated coin may only be worth its face value, while a well-preserved uncirculated example may carry a small premium for collectors. Where confusion often arises is through comparison with foreign coins. In other countries, particularly the United States, certain 1992 pennies with rare minting errors have sold for extraordinary amounts of money. These stories are true, but they do not apply directly to British coinage. The British 1992 1 penny does not have a widely recognized error variety or officially documented anomaly that would automatically place it in the category of high-value rarities. That does not mean value is impossible. Coins can become valuable when they possess something genuinely unusual. A striking error, a misalignment, a wrong metal composition, or an authenticated minting flaw can elevate a coin from ordinary to extraordinary. But such examples are extremely rare, and they must be professionally verified. Without authentication, claims of extreme value remain speculation rather than fact. As we look toward 2026, the market outlook for the standard 1992 Queen Elizabeth II 1 penny remains steady and realistic. Common circulated examples continue to trade at very modest levels. High-grade uncirculated coins may attract interest from dedicated collectors, particularly those building complete date sets. But even then, prices remain within reasonable limits. The coin's worth lies more in its condition and historical presence than in dramatic price spikes. The true value of this penny is not just monetary. It is a piece of modern British history, a coin that passed through countless hands during a transformative era. It represents everyday life, quiet continuity, and the long reign of one of the most recognizable monarchs in the world. While it may not fund early retirement, it holds meaning for collectors who appreciate context, craftsmanship, and authenticity. So, if you find a 1992 1 penny, take a moment before dismissing it. Examine it carefully. Preserve it properly. If it appears unusually perfect or displays a genuine anomaly, seek expert advice. Knowledge, not hype, is what separates a real discovery from a disappointing myth. The fascination surrounding this coin reminds us why numismatics endures. Even the smallest denomination can carry a story, and sometimes the real treasure is understanding the truth behind the legend. This small piece of metal dated 1992 has sparked years of questions, rumors, and intense interest. This is the story of the British Queen Elizabeth II 10-pence coin with no mint mark, its history, its reputation, and its true worth as we move into the year 2026. At first glance, the 1992 10-pence coin looks ordinary. It bears the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, her expression calm and timeless, representing stability and continuity in British history. This portrait belongs to a period when her image symbolized an entire generation, a time of economic change and modernization in the United Kingdom. Around her likeness are the traditional inscriptions that reflect centuries of monarchy, tradition, and national identity. Turn the coin over, and the reverse reveals the crowned lion, a powerful emblem of England that dates back hundreds of years. The lion stands proud and alert, guarding the nation's heritage. Beneath it, the denomination reads 10 pence, simple and clear, designed for everyday use. Yet behind this familiar design lies a significant moment in British coinage history. The year 1992 marked a major transformation. It was the first full year of circulation for the newly reduced-size 10 pence coin. Before this, the 10 pence was larger and heavier, but rising metal costs and practical concerns led to a redesign. The Royal Mint introduced a smaller, lighter version that would better suit modern circulation. Billions of these coins were produced to ensure a smooth transition, making the 1992 issue one of the most heavily minted 10 pence coins in British history. Because there is no mint mark on standard British circulation coins, many people assume that the absence of a mark must mean something rare or special. Over the years, this misunderstanding has fueled countless online listings claiming extraordinary values. Stories spread of ordinary 10 pence coins supposedly worth hundreds or even thousands of pounds, leading people to search through jars, drawers, and old wallets with growing excitement. But reality tells a different story. The standard 1992 no-mint mark 10 pence coin was produced in enormous quantities. It was designed to circulate widely, and it did exactly that. As a result, most examples found today show signs of wear, scratches, and dull surfaces from years of use. In circulated condition, these coins are generally worth their face value, sometimes only slightly more if sold to a collector who wants a date run or a representative example. Even coins that have never been circulated, those that still retain their original shine, typically hold only modest value. Their worth is usually tied to condition rather than rarity. And because so many were minted, supply far outweighs demand. For most collectors, this coin is considered common, not scarce. However, this is where the story becomes more complex and more intriguing. Not every 10 pence coin dated 1992 is the same. Alongside the standard circulation coins, special versions were produced for collectors. These include proof coins and presentation pieces, often struck with greater care, sharper detail, and mirror-like finishes. Some were part of official collector sets and never intended for everyday use. These examples can command higher prices, especially when preserved in their original packaging. There are also rare exceptions that truly capture the attention of serious numismatists. Trial strikes, pattern coins, and unusual varieties from 1992 exist in extremely limited numbers. These were often created for testing purposes or experimental designs and were never meant to enter circulation. When authenticated and confirmed, such coins can be worth hundreds of pounds or more, but they are exceptionally rare and almost never found in pocketchange.as. We look toward 2026. The market view of the standard 1992 no-mint mark 10 pence coin remains stable. It is widely recognized as an important historical issue due to its role in introducing the smaller coin size, but it is not considered a hidden treasure. Its value is grounded in realism rather than hype. Collectors appreciate it as part of Britain's modern coinage story, not as a financial windfall. That said, coins are not only about money. They are about history, memory, and connection. The 1992 10 pence coin represents a moment of transition, a time when Britain adapted its currency to meet new economic realities. For many people, it is a reminder of childhood, of change in their pockets, of everyday life quietly shaped by history. So if you find a 1992 10 pence coin, do not rush to believe the myths. Look at it carefully. Appreciate its design, its symbolism, and its place in British heritage. While it may not make you rich, it holds something just as meaningful. A tangible link to the past, carried forward into the present, and still telling its story as we move through 2026 and beyond. Sometimes, the true value of a coin is not measured by its price, but by the history it holds in the palm of your hand. The 1984 no-mint mark Canada 25 cents coin is one of those whispers. Small, ordinary, passed through millions of hands without a second glance. And yet, behind its simple appearance lies a story of history, survival, rarity, and value that continues to grow even in 2026. This coin was born in 1984, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch whose image defined an era of Canadian coinage. Her portrait, dignified and timeless, appears on the obverse, facing right, a symbol of continuity and stability. There is no mint mark because at that time, Canadian circulation coins were produced primarily at the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa without individual identifying marks. This absence itself has fueled confusion, speculation, and fascination among collectors for decades. Turn the coin over, and you see the iconic caribou, powerful and alert, standing against the vast wilderness it represents. This design was already familiar to Canadians, yet in 1984 it carried a sense of modern identity. The coin was struck in pure nickel, not silver like older quarters, making it lighter, more durable, and cheaper to produce. It was never intended to be rare. It was meant to circulate, to be used, to be worn down by daily life. And that is where the story truly begins. More than 100 million of these quarters were minted. They filled cash registers, parking meters, and pockets across the country. Most were scratched, faded, and damaged beyond collectible interest. But time is ruthless. Decades later, only a fraction of those coins remain in truly high condition. And in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A heavily circulated 1984 Canadian quarter today is still just that, a quarter. In 2026, such a coin holds little more than face value, perhaps slightly more to someone filling a date set. But when you encounter one that escaped heavy use, one that still holds sharp details, full luster, and clean surfaces, its story changes completely. Uncirculated examples, especially those preserved from the moment of minting, can command real attention. In the collector market of 2026, a clean mint state 1984 no mint mark quarter can be worth many times its original value. The higher the grade, the stronger the demand. Coins certified in near-perfect condition become scarce, and scarcity drives value. Then there are the outliers. The coins that were struck just a little differently. Slight misalignments, unusual strikes, subtle errors that slipped past quality control. These pieces are not common, and they are not always obvious. But when verified, they transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Error collectors and specialists are willing to pay significant premiums for these anomalies, sometimes pushing values into the hundreds. What makes this coin especially intriguing is not silver content or commemorative status, but survival. It represents a modern rarity, not rare because few were made, but rare because few were saved. In 2026, collectors are increasingly focused on high-grade circulation coins from the late 20th century, and the 1984 quarter fits perfectly into that trend. It is also a coin that reminds collectors of an important truth. Not every valuable coin looks valuable. Not every treasure shines. Sometimes worth is hidden in preservation, in patience, and in knowledge. So when someone asks whether the 1984 no mint mark Canada Queen Elizabeth 25-cent coin is worth a lot of money, the answer is simple yet powerful. Most are not. But the right one, untouched, uncirculated, or uniquely struck, can be worth far more than anyone ever expected. In 2026, this coin stands as a symbol of overlooked potential. A reminder that history doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits quietly, in a drawer, in a collection, or in the palm of your hand. The 1999 Queen Elizabeth II 20-pence coin. Imagine Britain at the edge of a new millennium. The year is 1999. The nation is preparing to step into the 21st century, and millions of coins are released into circulation as part of everyday life. Among them is the 20-pence piece, a familiar seven-sided coin passed from hand to hand, shop to shop, pocket to pocket. At its center stands the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, calm and resolute, a monarch whose reign had already shaped generations. This portrait, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, was meant to reflect maturity, stability, and continuity. It was not flashy. It was not rare. It was meant to endure. On the reverse side, the Tudor rose symbolized unity and tradition, accompanied by the words 20 pence and the date 1999. Nothing about this coin was intended to be extraordinary. And yet, decades later, people around the world began to ask the same question. Could this coin be worth a lot of money? The answer begins with understanding how common this coin truly is. In 1999, tens of millions of 20-pence coins were struck. They were produced in enormous quantities to meet daily demand across the United Kingdom. Because of this high mintage, the vast majority of 1999 20-pence coins remain common today. In circulated condition, they usually hold the same value they always have, 20 pence. Even in uncirculated condition, their worth is typically modest, appealing mainly to beginner collectors or those completing date sets. So where does the excitement come from? Why are there claims online that a 1999 20-pence coin without a mint mark or special detail could be worth hundreds or even thousands? The truth lies in confusion, mixed with the powerful allure of rare error coins. Unlike some countries, British circulating coins do not traditionally feature visible mint marks. This alone has led to misunderstandings. The idea of a no-mint mark 1999 20-pence coin being rare is a myth. There is no officially recognized mint error from 1999 involving missing mint marks or missing dates. Every genuine standard 1999 20-pence coin should clearly show its date on the reverse. If it does, it is not rare by default. However, British coin history does contain a real and fascinating error, and this is where many stories become tangled. Several years later, during a redesign of British coinage, an error occurred that shocked collectors. A batch of 20-pence coins entered circulation without a date at all. This happened due to a mismatch of old and new dies during the transition of designs. These coins, known as undated mule errors, were the first circulating British coins in centuries to be released without a date. That mistake turned an ordinary denomination into a modern legend. Over time, these undated 20-pence coins became genuinely valuable. Their worth rose not because of age, but because of rarity, documentation, and confirmed error status. Unfortunately, as news spread, misinformation followed. Many people began assuming that any older 20-pence coin, especially from the late 1990s, might be the same thing. The year 1999 became repeatedly and incorrectly attached to stories that actually belonged to a different coin entirely. This distinction is critical. A standard 1999 Queen Elizabeth II 20-pence coin, with its date clearly visible, is not considered a high-value rarity in 2026. Its market value remains close to face value unless it is in exceptional, untouched condition. Collectors may pay a small premium for pristine examples, but these premiums are limited and realistic, not life-changing. What truly drives high prices in the coin market is not rumor, but verification. Coins become valuable when they combine scarcity, demand, condition, and confirmed minting anomalies. Without these factors, even the most beautiful coin remains simply what it was meant to be. Money.as of 2026, the coin collecting market is more informed than ever. Buyers are cautious. They look at completed sales, professional grading, and authentication. Dramatic asking prices seen online often do not reflect real market transactions. Serious collectors know that value is proven, not claimed. If you ever examine a 20-pence coin from 1999, the most important thing to look for is clarity. Is the date present? Is the design standard? Is the coin simply worn from years of use? If the answer is yes, then you are holding a piece of history but not a hidden fortune. And yet, there is still something powerful about that coin, because even common coins tell stories. They remind us of the era they came from, the hands they passed through, the shops, buses, and homes they once visited. The 1999 20-pence coin represents the closing moments of one century and the calm confidence of a monarch whose image became one of the most recognized in the world. The real lesson is this. In coin collecting, knowledge is worth more than speculation. Understanding the difference between myth and reality protects collectors from disappointment and brings deeper appreciation for genuine rarity. Not every old coin is valuable, but every coin has a story. And sometimes the most valuable thing it offers is not money at all, but perspective. If you enjoyed this deep exploration into coin history and value, remember to like, subscribe, and stay curious. Because the next coin you look at might not make you rich, but it might teach you something far more lasting.